In a distant land, a ghost teaches magic to a young boy. Accompanying the ghost are two other undead beings, Mary, the mummified priestess, and Blood, the skeleton swordsman. Strangely, all three are the boy's parents. They live happily, yet each harbors secrets from one another, such as why Will is the only living human in the city, and their reasons for becoming undead. The boy conceals the truth that he was someone else in another world before being reborn and adopted by three undead who named him Will. Will grows up under the guidance of his undead family members. Blood imparts swordsmanship skills. Gus teaches him magic, and Mary imparts knowledge about the world. One day Will sees Mary with bread, curious about Mary's activities. Will follows her to the prayer room, where he discovers her on fire. In an attempt to intervene, he ends up burning his hands. When Will wakes up, Blood scolds him for his recklessness, and Mary reveals that the fire was her punishment for betraying her goddess. 5 years have drifted by since Will stumbled upon Mary's secret, and now, at the age of 13, the lessons from his undead parents have become increasingly demanding. One day, Blood gives him an assignment requiring him to escape from the ruins in the city. Eager to prove himself, he successfully defeats the undead and returns with a magic spear. Gus and Blood attempt to impart their gambling expertise to him. However, their endeavors are soon discovered, leading to a stern lecture from Mary. Before Will's coming-of-age ceremony, Blood and Mary prompted him to choose a guardian deity. On the day of Will's much-anticipated coming-of-age event, he confronts Blood for his ultimate trial, successfully passing it. In recognition of his achievement, Blood bestowed upon him a demon sword called Overeater, once wielded by the High King. Blood and Mary finally decides to tell him the truth. How 200 years ago they battled the demon High King who was ravaging the land, and were aided by Stagnate, god of the undead, in sealing him away in exchange for their service as the High King's undead guardians. Right after this, Stagnate appears to collect on their debt. The sudden appearance of Stagnate caught the three undead off guard. Despite Gus's interruption during his attempt to abduct Blood and Mary, the black mist erupting from Stagnate's chest left no room for relief. Will, rendered powerless, could only watch as Stagnate, with a fearless smile, uttered, "It's all thanks to you." Stagnate also takes an interest in Will and makes a promise to return before departing. The following day, the anguished will finally confess to his foster family that he was reincarnated from another world. Determined to find purpose in saving them from impending doom, Will resolve to confront Stagnate alone when he inevitably returned. Summoning his army of undead, Stagnate engaged in a formidable battle with Will, impressed by the latter's skills. Stagnate proposed a contract, urging Will to join him by offering his blood. Will saw through the ruse and attacked with his demon sword, but Stagnate countered by poisoning him with a summoned undead snake. On the verge of death, Will encounters Gracefield, the goddess of light, and swears an oath to her. Empowered by her divine protection, he rises for another showdown against Stagnate. However, Stagnate tricks Will into fighting his shadow while he goes off to attack Blood and Mary. Guided by Gracefield, Will realizes the deception and rushes back to the temple in a desperate attempt to save his foster family. Will arrives just in the nick of time as Stagnate comes within reach of the two wounded undead. However, divine intervention by Maita, Mary's deity, tips the scales in Will's favor, and Will is able to vanquish the evil god. With their souls finally liberated from the clutches of damnation, Blood and Mary decide to celebrate Will's hard-won victory. However, the realization dawns upon them that time is fleeting. In a poignant moment, they share a final drink together, savoring the fleeting moments before departing in peace. Will decide to leave the city, and Gus is still there. Gus gives Will money for his journey, revealing a pact with the goddess. Gus stays behind while Mary and Blood choose to depart. Before Will leaves, Gus names him William G. Maryblood, a blend of his parents' names and Gus's own, marking his departure from the city. Leaving the city of the dead behind, Will steps into the outside world. As he wanders through the woods for days, he encounters only desolate, ruined cities. During his journey, Will hunts and kills a wild boar, only to discover an arrow lodged in it. A chance meeting unfolds with a half-elf hunter who is pursuing the same boar. They share the meat and a meal, enjoying a rare connection. Although wary of each other, they part ways. Before he left, he said his name was Menel and will continue to recall him after his departure. As night falls, a revelation sent by Gracefield that Menel is in danger and guides Will to a nearby outsider village under siege. To his surprise, the attackers are led by none other than Menel, the half-elf he had encountered earlier. After Will defeats Menel and bloodlessly subdues them, the raiders reveal that a demon horde has decimated their village. Villagers decide to execute them. However, Will intervene. Using Gus's gifts, he offers reparations to the raiders. Will hires Menel and vows to cleanse the demon-occupied village. Menel leads Will to a village that's being attacked by monsters. As he banishes them, he learns the gravity of the tragedies caused by the attack. Then, from their midst, a faint voice belonging to a young boy who has turned undead catches their attention. The last of them, the ghost of village-wise woman Maple, informs them of a stronghold from whence the demons were sent before she leaves. And after the surviving villagers have returned, Menel, as a way to atone, entrusts himself to Will's spiritual guidance. After saving the village, Will decides to purchase supplies. Menel suggests heading to Whitesales, a bustling trade center. On their way, they suddenly hear a scream. Running in its direction, they rescue two travelers, a wandering trader Tonio and his partner, halfling bard Rabina B. Goodfellow, from a rabid giant ape. United by circumstance, the group decides to continue their journey together. Along the way, they stay in an abandoned house for a night, and B shares tales of Will's foster parents' heroic deeds, recounting their valiant act of vanquishing a wyvern to save the lives of a half-elf girl and her boyfriend. While traveling, Tonio mentions a potential royal succession conflict between Prince Owen and his brother, the rightful crown prince of Whitesales. The party finally arrives in Whitesales. Will has never seen such a big, lively city, and he is deeply impressed. Will visits the temple to pray and discovers that faith in Gracefield has waned since the war with the High King. He encounters Bishop Bart Bagley, who graciously lets him offer his prayers. Hoping to find respite from his journey, Will is interrupted by an alarm. Rushing outside, he witnesses a wyvern attacking the town, with the city guards struggling to fend it off. Will and Menel join forces, successfully bringing down the wyvern. With raw strength, Will delivers the final blow, earning him the title Wyvern Killer. The news of Will's feat reaches the ears of Prince Ethelbald, prompting a request for a meeting. Meeting the Crown Prince in gratitude for saving the city, Will seizes the chance to request troops to combat the demon incursions from the Beast Woods. However, Prince Ethelbald expresses his inability to provide soldiers. Will proposes hiring adventurers independently. In response, the prince issues a threat, but Will stands firm until Bishop Bagley interrupts. Despite his reservations about Will's request, which could very well be used to challenge his authority, and Bishop Bagley's skepticism, Ethelbald decides to grant it, and has Will elevated to a paladin in the bargain. In their quest for allies, Will and Menel enter the White Sails Tavern, but face reluctance until they encounter Rastov, a seasoned warrior, and other adventurous souls willing to risk their lives for the quest. As the sun rises on a new day, Will is officially made a knight and paladin of the Southmark. As a newly anointed paladin, Will and his party shift their focus to rebuilding the village and eliminating monsters. One day, one of Will's patrol parties goes missing. During a search for a missing patrol party in Beastwoods, they stumble upon the scattered remains of comrades. Deepening their investigation, they fall into an ambush orchestrated by a large horde of demon beasts, led by a ferocious chimera. In the fierce battle, Menel gets injured, prompting Will to wield his demon sword. Losing control, Will annihilates the monsters before passing out. In a final act, he uses his divine protection to save Menel. Upon waking, Rastov informs Will that they retreated after the battle. Menel survived, and the chimera escaped, overhearing people discussing his extraordinary strength and labeling him a monster. A stressed Will visits Menel to tend to his injuries. After meeting his goddess, Will decides to leave, determined to confront the demons alone to prevent endangering his friends. Despite Will's attempts to set out alone, Menel intercepts him, unwilling to let his friend embark on a solitary quest without a fight. Though Menel loses the physical struggle, his determination compels Will to relent, and they both return to the village together. At village, together with their companions, they forge a plan to eliminate the demon beasts terrorizing the villages near Beastwoods. Will and Menel, side by side, fight their way to the demon chief's hideout. Confronted by the chimera, Will realizes that the demon beasts were summoned to clear the Beastwoods of human habitation, so that demons could take over the city of the dead and enable the High King's release. Will and Menel fight and manages to defeat the chimera. While they were fighting outside, Rastov slips past and eliminates the chief demon. Amidst the celebrations of their hard-fought victory, Menel sees an opportunity for Will to officially govern Beastwoods. In the end, after some reluctance, Will acknowledges the merit of the idea for his mission to rekindle faith in Gracefield. He seeks Menel's assistance in this new endeavor.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.